Yo, what's going on, Arena Breakout Infinite players? Welcome to Arena Breakout Infinite. My name's ImOw. I'm a 2x LAN player for Arena Breakout. I participated in all the tournaments, events for Arena Breakout Infinite as well. And today I'm going to be sharing my top 100 tips and tricks with you guys to help you understand the game from the basics, intermediate, all the way to the advanced tips and tricks. I can't put everything in this video, but there's 100 here for you. So, without further ado, drop a like, subscribe, and let's hop straight into this video. Let's start off with the basics then, guys. Settings. Settings are super important in this game. So here are the best settings if you want to copy mine. So I'll quickly go through this. Pause the video at any point. Okay. There's a reason why these are the settings that I'm using. And the most important ones is obviously the imaging one as well for the best FPS. Now, you may be thinking, why are you using basic settings? Well, this will allow you to spot enemies a lot better indoors and outdoors. But here are all the settings. Here are my keybinds as well, if you guys want to copy any of these. The only one I'm going to pick out that is very crucial is the leaning. I have this on hold, so you can jiggle peek. For an example, there's a clip on screen for you right now of me jiggle peeking. But here's the rest of the settings for you right now. And then privacy as well. Next tip, download NVIDIA Inspector. Okay, that's if you got a NVIDIA graphics card, by all means. This is super important, and I'll show you why. This is NVIDIA Inspector. It looks confusing, but don't worry, I'm not going to break your computer by all means. This will give you the best settings. But what you want to do is type in Arena Breakout Infinite up the top after you've installed Arena Breakout, of course, and change to all of these settings. Just pause the video when you need to check which settings I'm using. I want to be as quick as I can with these tips and tricks, but these will again give you the best performance, maximize DLSS, and also give you the best advantage with seeing people in bushes, inside buildings. It will make them glow like a glow stick. Make sure that you click apply changes, and then you will never need to touch this program or open it up again. Next one then, guys, is NVIDIA control panel. Just copy my settings here. This will give you the maximum FPS and the color settings. So these are the color settings: 57 brightness, contrast 50, gamma 122, digital vibrance 65. Again, this will give you the best vision when it comes to spotting enemies in bushes. It lights up the dark corners of the maps. So if people are hiding, you can see them a lot easier, especially with some of the skins in the game. But yeah, this is by far the best to have. And here are the 3D settings that I'll be using as well, ladies and gents. Just pause the video if you want to obviously copy these. And then make sure that you click apply up the top right when you do change a setting. Once again, you do not need to change these settings at all. The only times I would recommend to check these settings is if you have a graphics card update. Always double check these settings. Let's start from the beginning then, guys. This is an extraction shooter game. You die, you do not respawn, and you will lose your gear. This is not Call of Duty. Now, your gear does cost money, which is called coin in the game. This is what the coin looks like. To make money, you need to kill players and loot the map and extract successfully. That is the main objective of an extraction looter shooter. Let's start off with the basics then. Healing icons and what to do and what to use. So you will have a wound, which is also called a bleed. You need to stop this bleed as it will cause damage loss and death. There are two ways to do this. Use a bandage or an OPM. They're all bandages right here. Or you can use a Medkit. Only an E3 and above. So these heals here will heal a bleed. Now, please bear in mind, when you heal a bleed with a Medkit, it will use 100 durability. Because on these heals, there is a cap. So here are the caps. E3s will have 300 durability, 100D with 400, TMK with 960, and an STL of 1,200. Broken bones. Now, this is a pain in the ass. You need to use one of these surge kits to heal a broken bone. Another inside tip, do not run or jump when you got broken legs for too long, because this can also cause death. Dehydration. This will cause HP to continuously decline. You can use any drink to restore your hydration levels. The same with hunger. If you are severely hungry, your HP will decline and it reduces your max stamina and increases stamina cost and decreases recovery rate. Now, you can eat anything that you like, but be warned, some items, especially, for example, this one, if you take it, it will give you your hunger, but it will cause hydration. Basic injuries then, guys, you will go from white to yellow to red to black. And once you are black, that means that you got a broken bone. To heal yourself, you need to use a medkit. Here are all the medkits. Again, I've already showed you these. They all have different durabilities and times that they are used. For example, treatment speed 18, 15. Some of them take a lot longer. You have lung injury, so your chest will continuously lose HP, your movement speed is greatly reduced, and max stamina is greatly reduced. Now, the thing is, you will not die from a lung injury. There is a way to cure this, and that is by using a nebby, also called the nebulizer, also called the nebulizer. I like to call it a nebulizer. Now, the thing is, when you are gassed and you have a lung injury, if you don't have a nebby, you will cough your guts up, which gives the enemy an audio cue. The next one is Stims. There's a couple here, but let's start off with a healing one. There are 2 healing ones. These are called the regens. Now, you can see with the Stims, you've got a normal colored one and one with a white middle. Now, the difference is the normal one will only last for 180 seconds, and the professional one or the advanced one will last for 300 seconds. Regens will continuously give you HP over time. Now, it is quite slow, and they're not used that often. You then have the red Stims, which are the endurance injectors. Same again, you have the normal one and then the advanced one, lasting for 180 as the normal and 300 for the advanced. Now, staminas are highly used, and I recommend them 1000%. They will give you more stamina so you can run longer, jump more often, chuck grenades, and also aim and ADS for a lot longer without having any weapon sway. We then have the strength boosters. Now, these are stimulants that you pop if you are overweight. So if you loot too much gear, you will become overweight and you will not be able to run, jump, or do anything. Now, popping one of these bad boys will allow you to temporarily run, but be warned, you do sound like an elephant running through a hallway. Again, you have the normal and advanced 180 seconds and 300 seconds. Now, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but I'm pretty sure that the normal booster will only work between 70 to 80 kg, and the advanced will work from 70 to 90 kg. Let's go back to healing then, guys. So, the E3, 100D, TMK, and STO are the best medkits to use. Now, there's a reason behind this. All the other ones, which is the first aid, military kit, and the 926, will destroy your hydration. Now, don't get me wrong, in order, the E3 will also destroy your hydration and hunger, and the 100D and the TMK. The STO is being the absolute premium healing item. But the thing is, all you need to do is use a drink and some food to cover this. Sometimes it's a lot cheaper to use 2 E3s, as you can see, for 33,000 coin, or 200Ds, which is at 40k, rather than using an STO, which is 63k, or a TMK, which is 44k. Now, prices always change. So before you buy your healing, make sure that you double check which is the cheapest to buy at the time. When you are healing, like I said, your hydration will decrease. So always check the stats before taking in your med kits. You can check the stats by double clicking on any item in your storage, or you can do this inside of a raid as well. Now, broken bones does actually suck, so we're going to talk about that again. So you've got different surge kits here. Different surge kits take different times. So when you are healing with a surge kit during a fight, you always want to be as fast as possible. Again, check the stats. You will see it here. So you will be able to see the enable time on these different surgical kits. As you can see, the STO is the best, followed then by the TMK, then followed by the standard, followed by the simple. Now, simples are good, but I do recommend these 3 in total. Now, the STO is the best surge kit. The reason being is when you heal your broken bone, it will give you a full 100 HP on that part of the body that you just healed. The TMK standard, and the simple surgical. They will not. When you heal with these, your body will also still be negatively impacted, which you will need to use a medkit to heal. Best hydration drinks are the energy drinks. You got the blue one, and then you got the yellow and orange one. Now, the thing is, with these, they will not only cure your hydration, they will also cure your hunger. And they will recover your stamina in raid, so you will be able to run for a lot longer and get to places a lot quicker. Okay, the healing is now done. Let's go over to the grenades. So we've got a couple of grenades here then, guys. There is a lot to talk about, but let's start off with the M67, this absolute destroying grenade. Now, this grenade is amazing because it causes severe bleeding. I like to call the M67 the bleeder. Another tip and trick with the M67, these grenades are perfect for vert grenading or vert nading or sky grenading, whatever you guys want to call it, because it has a long fuse time. When you chuck an M67 directly into the air, it will then come directly down, and before it hits the floor, it will explode because of the fuse time. So this will cause absolute domination across your enemies, and your enemies will not have time to react to it unless they're looking in the sky, looking for your grenades, which is highly doubtful because they're holding angles. You then also have the GHO, which is not the best. It used to be the meta, but it sucks now. I don't recommend using this. It's very expensive, but basically what this grenade does is causes damage and impact through walls and doors. So basically it just like causes damage like through materials. It's the only grenade that does it, but this has been heavily nerfed pre-season 3. So depending on when you're watching this video, it may be good again, or it may be as bad as it is now. Now, you also have the MK2, which is the Mark II frag grenade. I call this the pineapple. It is the best grenade in the game. This causes severe armor damage, and it causes a lot of damage to the limbs as well. Now, the best thing about this grenade, it has the shortest fuse, meaning it is super viable mid-gunfight. Gas grenades then, these are pain in the asses. These cause your lung injury, which I explained earlier. They can also be used for decoys. They can also be used to stop enemies pushing. And they can also be used as a smoke grenade because it causes a green fog. Now, the problem is these actually last a lot longer than smoke grenades. So they are actually a lot more usable than smoke grenades. Talking about smoke grenades then, smoke grenades are super useful to be able to cover your back, to stop third parties, to be able to cover angles if people are using DMRs, also to cut off points of view if you want to try and cross to other areas of the map. They are used tactically. I always recommend using these on whatever map you're using, but be mindful, not a lot of people do use them, and if they are using them, 9 out of 10 times they're using thermals, so run away. We then have the M84 flashbangs. These are pretty useless, honestly. I'm going to be completely honest. Don't use them. They take ages to actually pop, and they don't really flash the enemies for too long. And most of the time, people are just going to swing you as soon as you try and chuck one of these at them. So don't use them. Stun grenades, the new meta. I always use these. Now, the thing is, what these grenades do will slow down the enemies. It can also flash them, make them have a black screen so they won't be able to see. But the best thing about it, it slows their sensitivity and their DPI down so they can't flick shot you. But the main objective on why people use stun grenades is for the audio cue. Because if you don't know exactly where somebody is or you think somebody is ratting, you chuck one of these, it will explode through the wall or the doors, and it will give you a ting sound, which notifies you that there is an enemy there. Lastly, we have the Molotov. Now, these are pretty useless. People don't tend to use them. They cause a lot of damage, but the problem is, you chuck one, people will just not run through it because they're not stupid. It is good to slow down an enemy, but they're not used that much. Okay, let's talk about the container then, ladies and gentlemen. This is the container. There are a couple to choose from. You got a 1x2, 2x2, 2x3, and there will be a 3x3 coming in Season 3, so depending on when you're watching this video. But basically, the secure container is amazing to be able to put, for example, an STL, which is super expensive, and some spare ammo inside of it. So when you die, you don't lose as much money. You can also put your red items that you find in raids. So when you die, you don't lose your red item. And you can also put other heals in there, such as the STO, or if you've got Stims, or if you've got PKs. It's so good to be able to store stuff. So if you do die, you don't lose as much gear. Starting in Season 3, you will be able to get yourself a 3x3 case for absolutely free by just completing all the seasonal missions. Now, you will be able to hold this case until the following season. Knives are completely pay to win. Now, I don't mean pay to win against your enemies, but against your scavs and the AI in the game. Knifing the scavs will be silent and deadly. And the thing is, depending on what knife you're using, the faster TTK is always best. So if you have got any of these knives, I highly recommend the Striker. This is the best knife, fast TTK. It also allows you to stop using your ammo on scavs. So you're saving yourself money that way as well. Keys are crucial, ladies and gentlemen. Depending on when you're watching this video, keys may be a little bit different. Now, starting from Season 3 and above, the durability is a little bit different. So as you can see in the clip that I'm showing you right now, there is durability, but the durabilities will be a lot higher from Season 3 and above, because in normal, lockdown, and forbidden, it is very similar to the game Delta Force, where when you use your keys in these different game modes, it will use different amounts. I believe normal will use 1 amount, lockdown is 2, and forbidden will use 3. Keys are used to open locked doors where you can find valuable items such as safes and also pieces of clothing, weapon boxes, and much more. All right, let's talk about headsets next then. So there's a couple of headsets to choose from. I do not recommend these here. The only headsets I recommend are the Commanders and the GS2s. What are the difference between these headsets? Commanders are best for indoor engagements as it increases the bass, and the GS2s are best for outdoor maps such as Valley, Northridge, Farm, any maps with grassy areas, because it will amplify the high-pitched noises such as the grass sounds when people are crouch walking through them. You will be able to also hear gunshots across the map. That's why I don't recommend using GS2s indoors, because the audio may be a little bit too much for you where enemies sound a lot closer than they are. So Commandos, indoors, GS2, outdoors. All right, let's talk about game modes then, ladies and gentlemen. We've got normal. Normal is for brand new players. This is what you will be forced to play. There will only be either 1 or 2 maps on here, depending on when you're watching this video. Now, these maps are full of AI players and the loot sucks. But it's a great way to understand the maps, learn the maps, and learn the spawns. Now, normals, there is a limit to your gear. You can only go in with gear between 0 to 300k coin. It's to stop the Giga Chads bullying the Timmies. Moving on to lockdown then, ladies and gentlemen. This is an upgrade to your Arena Breakout experience. Now, this is a hit or miss. There's a couple of maps that you'll be able to play on here. Now, there is a loot requirement. You need 100k and above to enter this, and it will cost you 20,000 coin to enter each match. Now, lockdown will be either full of Giga Chads bullying Timmies, or it will be Timmies trying to, take their game to the next level. There is no in-between. In my personal opinion, lockdown definitely needs a cap, where you can only go in with T4 armor or below. Now, anybody that wants to go in with armor above that needs to be forced into Forbidden Zone. Now, this is the big boy zone. Depending on when you're watching the video, it depends on the maps that you'll be able to play. So Forbidden, basically, there is a cap. You need 300k coin or above to enter, and it will cost you 50,000 coin to actually enter the match itself, which is your buy-in fee. Forbidden has the best loot. It has got the best players. It has got Giga Chads. This is where you will make your money or lose a lot of money. There's limited time events that come and go as the seasons come and go. The best one is Secure Ops. I highly recommend Secure Ops. This game mode will allow you to earn money and not lose your gear. If you die, you will not lose your gear at all. And then over time, you will have other game modes such as duos, Arsenal Shuffle, Team Deathmatch, Domination. There's a lot to come from the Arena Breakout devs. Moving on to Covert Ops then, ladies and gents. Covert Ops is a way to earn some free money. The maps are limited. You go in with a random kit that the game decides that it wants to put you in. If you die, you don't lose anything. If you survive, on the other hand, you will get gear from that. And also, the other scavs in the map will not aggro you unless you shoot them. So avoid shooting scavs because you are a scav in this game mode, and you can pretend to be AI in front of real players, which are called PMCs. So if you do see a PMC, wait till they have their back turned to you and spray their legs. We then have the shooting range, ladies and gentlemen. Shooting range is huge. Highly recommend going into the shooting range every single day. Before you jump into any raids, this is the best way to warm up. The shooting range is consistent of dummies and target practice where you can change the variable of the distance. The dummies, you can change their gear all the way up to T6 armors, T6 helmets. Now, another good thing about the firing range is that you can go to the workbench. You can customize weapons without actually spending your own money. So you can test out weapon builds, and you can turn on infinite ammo. You can also then go to your storage, test out your gear. You can go to ammo dump, get different equipment. You can also pack the best ammos, do what you want with this, and test it on the dummies. As you can see, it will also show you where you're shooting. You can start a challenge where you can start your reaction speed. And then if you go over here, like I said, you can change the distance of these firing targets as far as you want. Aim at it. It will show you where you're shooting. Highly recommend the shooting range. Customization then, ladies and gentlemen, it's a key fact. I know you guys like your amazing gear that looks amazing because a lot of people love Call of Duty and Fortnite, but this is a realistic tactical shooter. Now, going in with gear sets like this or like this will make you stand out like a sore thumb. Highly recommend going in with gear that is camouflaged. Now, if you don't have any of these, just wait because this game loves to sell you cosmetics. Okay, let's talk about the equipment. Let's start you off with some standard loadouts and then we'll go all the way down to forbidden loadouts. Let's start off with normals then, where you don't need too much gear. A nice tier 3 helmet would be fine. Highly recommend the SH-12. Now, the SH-12 has a high ricochet chance, as you can see here. A high ricochet chance means if you get shot in the head, the bullet may not penetrate and you will not get one-tapped. The thing is, though, you won't be able to wear a headset with this. So, again, if you do want a T3 helmet, highly recommend the F70. What you want to do with that, then, is put a DK6 face shield on it, followed by a Commando or GS2 headset, again, depending on the map that you're playing. Now, the rigs, I always go with a cheap and cheerful for normals, a 926. The reason I go with a 926 is because it's got a 4-slot where you can put a nice big fat hill in there. Or if you're killing somebody and they've got a red item, you can put it in there if you haven't got a case. Followed by this then, guys, any backpack will do. Now, the most common backpacks, in my opinion, are the Rush Tacs, the Travels, the Cowhides, and the Medfields. Chapman's and I would say 926s are good. It all depends on how much gear you want to come out with. You're playing normal, so you're not going to need to go overkill like this. Armors then, guys, you want to go with a T4 and above. Spartan is a very good choice. Another good choice is the HLC. This is a tier 3, but it is actually very good. And the SEK, which is a tier 4. Now, I don't recommend going in with T3 armor because you can just find that on the scavs. Now, followed by the gear then, guys, I highly recommend going in with 3 liquid painkillers. Go in with a bandage of your choice. Now, I like to just go in with a normal bandage. With normals, again, you want to go in with around about 3 of these military kits. Take a stim with you as well if you want it. Surge kits, you can go in with the standard ones, or I highly recommend the standard ones. And I'd say maybe 1 grenade, 1 smoke grenade. I generally think that is perfect for normals. And again, you can put this stuff into your container. Now, it's not letting me here because this is actually from one of the bundles. So if you see that symbol here, this is another tip and trick. I'm going to give you this one for free. But if you see the symbol here, that means that is tactical ops. Now, the difference between tactical ops and a non-tactical ops is the symbol. So if the symbol is there, you will not be able to ask that stuff. As you can see right there, look. To be able to get rid of this, you need to go into a raid and successfully extract. Now, followed by this then, guys, obviously a weapon of your choice, an extra mag. So what you want is 2 mags. So here we go. We got 1 mag in the weapon, and then you're going to want an extra mag then. Now, the extra mag, what you want it to be is in your rig. If it's in your backpack, you will not be able to reload by pressing your keybind R. You need it in your rig to be able to fast transfer your mags. Now, if it is in your backpack, what you need to do is obviously just open up your backpack and drag it into your weapon to change the mag, which, if you're in the middle of a gunfight, is not viable. So always have your extra mags in your rig. Okay, let's go on to lockdown then, guys. I highly recommend T5 armor and above. These hazmats are amazing to use. T5 armor, I either go with the 926 or the BT6 heavy. Now, you can go in with T4 armor, which sometimes I do. I'm going to be honest with you. So if you want to go in with a budget friendly, this is a very good loadout. Again, if you want a good helmet, you can go in with like an RSP or a KSS2. KSS2s are good because you can also put a headset on there as well. Now, with the rigs, guys, if you're going into lockdown or forbidden, I always highly recommend the FA multi because it's got 2 4-slotters. Here, you can actually go in with 2 4-slot heals, so a surge and a full heal. You can also put that heal in your ass. Now, I always recommend advanced or extreme painkillers. I usually go in with extreme because they last a lot longer, as you can see, 300 seconds. I go in with 2 grenades, 2 util, and another 2 util. Followed by then an endurance and a strength, 2 energy drinks, maybe 3, depending on the map that you're playing. Northridge and Farm, I recommend 3. TV, Armory, I recommend 2. And then that is literally your loadout. Again, with the weapon of choice, always go in with that spare magazine so you can quick reload. That is your kit. And then, of course, your bag. Depends on how much loot you want to come out with. I highly recommend folding up your bags and putting it in your rig. This is another extra tip and trick because it will make your character a lot smaller. For example, if I put this on my back, look how much more bigger I look. And if it's not on my back and it's in my rig, it's a lot smaller. Now, the Medfield bag is actually quite nice and small. So, there you go. That is your lockdown kit. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, forbidden. Now, I highly recommend T5 or T6. Do not go in with anything under it. My common kits is either the Blast Helmet, Motorbike Helmet, SH65, or the RST. My personal favorite is the SH65, followed by either a T6 armor, again, FA multi. Backpacks, I only go into Forbidden with a field backpack or 926. That is my loadout, and this is my necessary. I go in with this exact loadout. So STO, or you can go in with 200Ds, 2 E3s. Sometimes I go in with that. You want these stims and 2 drinks. This is my forbidden loadout. I don't go in with anything less or anything more. Now, the helmets are great. Now, let me show you the helmets real quick. So with a motorbike helmet, this is overkill. You can go in with a headset. Now, the thing is, though, motorbike helmets get hunted down. If I ever see a motorbike helmet, I am going to W key at that guy because this helmet is worth 1.5 mil. And also, it makes you stick out like a sore thumb because it's huge and it's white. Now, the SH65 is the best helmet in the game, in my opinion. There's 2 reasons why. You have 2 face shields. You have a T6 one, which does cost a lot of money. Now, I highly recommend that you use a T5 face shield. They're only 50k at the time of the recording this video. And what I like to do is buy 2 of them, like so. I will put one on my visor and I will take one in my rig. Because if I get shot, I do not want bullet holes. I can just simply hit my helmet and change the visor. All right then, ladies and gents, now that I've covered your basic kits for the game modes, let's go over some of the loadouts. These are my top 5 loadouts for you guys for Forbidden. Coming in spot number 1 then is the HK. This is the best weapon in the game. Nothing competes with it. Here's the weapon attachments. Spot number 2 then is the P90. Here's the weapon build for the P90. Again, this is an absolute machine. It destroys people so quickly, destroys armor. Spot number 3 then will be the AEK. It's got the fastest TTK, got a slightly more recoil, but it's an insane weapon to use. Spot number 4 then, ladies and gents, is the AK-12. Absolute machine. You can find my build right here on screen. This is good for medium and long range fights. The ammo is very good. The recoil is very low, especially with the 2-7, or you can change this to the 1-6. And then the AR-57. This is very similar to the P90, but this will help you for medium to long range. Here's the weapon build on screen for you right now. Right, let's move on to the DMRs then, ladies and gentlemen. The M110, most reliable DMR in the game. Now, this shoots M62s, M61s, M80s. M62s is the only tracer round in the game. Here's the weapon build for you right now. It's amazing if you don't want to be an aggro player and you want to play the outskirts of the map. Now, the best DMR in the game is the SVDS. It is super accurate. It is absolutely powerful and will put your enemies down. It uses 7Ns, SMBs, and 7B ammo. But it is quite expensive, so bear that in mind. Followed by that then is the budget version of the SVDS. This is the SVTU. It's a very good weapon, used in the comp scene a lot, and it shoots very good. But the thing is, you kind of want to play a little bit careful with this weapon. Again, these DMRs are only used for looters if you're on the outskirts of the maps. Okay, that's the guns covered. If you want all my weapon builds, all my budget builds for like lockdown and normals, you can find that by clicking the link in the description to my Discord, where you will find all my weapon builds, all my budget builds, and I update these all of the time when new seasons drop, but there are so many of them. But if you want them, they're there for you. Okay, now that the guns are covered, let's cover the maps. Let's start with farm. Motel and stables are the most hot zone areas, the best for PvP. Most fights will happen there, or most fights will happen on grain and over on main villa. Now, this map may look a little bit different when you're watching this video because they do expand the maps a lot. But at the current moment, villa, motel, stables, and grain are the most big PvP areas. Now, if you don't want PvP and you want to avoid the fights, then always hit the outskirts of the maps all the way around, loot the outskirts, and then extract. Valley, you have beach villa, and you have small factory. These are the hot zones, but you will also find a lot of fighting on the courtyard area, RV camp down here. You might find a bit of fighting on village and supply camp. Most of the fights do happen around beachhead positions as well, but your main PvP areas will be beach, courtyard, and small factory. Now, again, if you're a looter and you don't want the PvPs, you can always hit the outskirts of the map and get to your extraction points. Northridge, then, you've got a couple of PvP here, but the hot zones will be the hotel and cable car. Now, the other PvP zones will be sewage and camp services, also known as managers. But the thing is, if you want the PvP, hotel and cable is your main priority because you can extract from both areas. Again, if you're a looter, your best bet is actually staying in the middle of the map on Northridge and getting across to your extraction points. Armory, then, ladies and gentlemen, there is one big PvP area, and that is on the front of the armory or inside the armory. Now, there is another hot zone, which is radar station. You will find some more fights around about Medfield and gas station, and usually around about repair facility, but most spawns will make people run straight into the main armory objective, or if you're a looter or a DMRer, you will find yourself at radar station. So if you are one of those PvPers, be careful from radar because they will shoot your ass. TV station, then, ladies and gents, there's two hotspots, general and directors. These are two hotspots where most of the fights happen, but there are a lot more PvP areas such as Double Cat, you got Top Donut, editing, and then you also have mid-map. Not many people do go mid-map, but they usually do go warehouse and hazmat. Okay, now that you know the maps and where to avoid PvP or where to go if you want the PvP, let's talk about the bosses. Each map has their own boss. Now, there's only 2 bosses that are useful, and that is the armory boss, because he has T5 gear, a very good weapon, but his boss badge is worth a lot of money. And then you also have the TV station bosses, which drop T5, sometimes T6 gear, and again, good ammo, good weapons, and a good boss badge. All the other bosses are pretty useless. They do carry some good gear, but try and avoid them because you don't want to spend your money fighting the bosses. Okay, guys, learn the spawns is the next tip and trick. Okay, so here are all the valley spawns on screen right now, followed by Northridge, followed by TV station, followed by armory, and also learn your spawns because these are crucial to surviving your raids and also engaging with PvP, avoiding PvP, and the difference between successfully extracting and failing your extractions. Now that you've learned the spawns, the maps, and your loadouts, let's talk about some storage tips and tricks. You can go to your contacts and go to Avita. You can purchase 2 expansion storages. As you can see, my storage is absolutely rammed to the pack, and it's huge. And that is because I have the expanded storages. Be mindful, though. They are expensive, and like I said to you, the armory boss badge right there, there's a reason why it goes for so much money, because you need to trade it in for the storage and also a bigger keychain. Now, there is a way to free up storage with your weapons. As you can see, some of my weapons are red. To be able to do this, double click on a weapon, remove the rear grip, and remove the magazine. And you will see this weapon now has gone to a small slot. Now, if you want to see that again in action, if I put on a rear grip, it will expand it. And again, if I remove the rear grip, but I do have a magazine in the weapon, it will again make it a lot bigger. So once again, the rear grip and the mag will shrink the weapons. This does work for most of the weapons, except for AEKs. AEKs you can just like shrink down regardless. You can't take the rear grip off them. AR-57s are the same as well, I'm pretty sure. There's a couple of weapons that you can't do it with. But again, just remove the ammo and the mags to free up space. And use the auto-organize to free up even more space. Another good thing as well is sell the attachments that you know that you won't be using. When you are listing on the market, make sure that you click the minus once and then the plus once. This will now make your item the cheapest on the market, which will make it sell the quickest. You will get your sold items from the market mail where you can retrieve them all. Sometimes your items will not sell and they will be returned. To free up some space then, ladies and gentlemen, there's a couple of ways that we can do this. As you can see, I do have some backpacks and there's a reason behind that. What you want to do is get an amp, and from here then, ladies and gents, you can get a rush tack, and then followed by that then as well, you can get yourself a B6 tactical rig, and inside this rush tack, you can put another 2 B6 rigs, where now you can store a lot of attachments, coin, whatever you want in there. Now, there are many ways that you can do this as well. For example, we can go with a cowhide. Let me just get rid of everything out of my cowhide real quick. Followed by then a rush tack. Followed by, again, another B6 tack and another B6 tack. Or, if you want to go even further, you can use FA multis, because this way now, I will have 2 2x2 slots where I can store a 4-slot item inside. And then you can go even extreme. You can go to a field, followed by a cowhide, followed by another cowhide, followed by a rush tack inside the cowhide, followed by rigs, helmets. There's so many ways that you can do this to free up even more space. But again, it depends on how creative you want to be with it. But there's some examples on how to clear up some storage space, ladies and gentlemen. Well, let's talk about the contacts then, guys. So Joel will be your starter. If you're playing the game, you won't have them all unlocked straight away. You do need to progress through the game and go through the level system. The level system is pretty straightforward. You can actually go up to the top left up here, level rewards. So the more that you go through the levels, the more contacts you get. So just a quick one, guys. If you get to level 30, you do get a free knife. And you do get some like free rewards. So always claim your rewards from here. Okay, so Joel is basic. He's got some basic weapons. And he's got some basic mags, scopes, and ammo. Nothing too fancy.
Getting into trouble.
Evita will sell you all your medical needs. Sometimes she's cheaper than the market, but sometimes she might be more expensive. But you can also trade in items. For example, if I want this STO, which usually costs a lot of money, if I get 2 GPUs from inside the raid, I can now get this. So you can do some trades. You get your stims from her, some hydration, and some biscuits for your hunger. You can buy some different miscellaneous items as well, which can be used for trading. And also, like I said, you can get some storage expansions and normal keychains. You then have Deke, which is the best of them all. So why is Deke the best? You can get limited time items. This resets 3 times a day. So here we go. I can now buy 3 grenades for 124k. So, you know, this isn't that good. But sometimes you can get keys. Sometimes you can get weapons, ammo, and you can refresh it every hour. But you can only do that 3 times a day. Now, Deke also supplies you with helmets, armors, rigs, and backpacks. Nothing too fancy, though. Again, you can exchange the items. Vladin, then, again, you got some weapons. You can get the SVDS from him. You can exchange some gimbals and cameras, mags, scopes, attachments, and ammo. The ammo is not the best. If you want good ammo, we'll get onto that in a moment. You got Thomas again with some more weapons. You can get M4s from him, trade them in, HKs, trade some more items in, mags, scopes, attachments, grips, and ammo. You can get some good ammo from him, but not the best. Randall has some of the best weapons. For example, M110, P90, M24, AR-57, mags, scopes, the best grips, the ammo. You can get gold ammo from him if you exchange. You can get red ammo. This may change, but you can get some very good helmets, thermal imaging, some of the best armors. You can get a BT6 from him as well, some rigs, headsets. So just a quick one, guys. Randall sells the BT6 T5 and Deke sells the 926. These reset every, I believe, 24 hours. You can only buy one at a time. But there's 200k here. But if you want to buy that on the market right now, you will be spending 291k. Okay, another tip and trick then, guys. If you are fully looted in a raid, if you've already got 2 guns and you can't fit any more guns, what you can do is double click the weapon on the player that you're looting. You'll get this window. And what you can do is press F on your keyboard or drag the attachments. The scope, the muzzle, the grip, and the stock are the most important. You will not be able to loot anything else on the weapon except for stuff like, you know, lasers or flashlights. Now, that is super important because these is what makes you the money. So don't be disheartened if you can't take it out the raid like this. Just take the attachments off it and you will be good to go. Hip firing in this game is so good. You don't need to always scope in to get a kill. Get used to hip firing in the firing range because it's super overpowered and accurate. The firing range is the best place to warm up. I sit here for about 5 to 10 minutes every day warming up before my first raid. This is not Call of Duty. You won't respawn and you will lose money, so warm up. Always check the events tabs then, ladies and gents, because there's always stuff to be claimed. There's always money to be made. There's always items to claim. Free gear every single day. Make sure that you create a squad channel as well, because this way you can claim research points and you and your squad, this is also like a clan, can claim some free rewards and gear doing that as well. Make sure that you go to the events tab and click on to follow us and follow the social media of Arena Breakout that you can claim some free rewards that way as well. Make sure that you click on your name at the top. Level rewards, you claim all your level rewards. Make sure that you click on to ranked and click on to your obtain this week. You get ranked points every week. It resets every week where you can buy these little bundles, which gives you free gear and a potential chance of a red item. You can also go to season objective as well, because every time you rank up, you can claim these free rewards as well, such as camos, cosmetics, badges, weapon crates, and much more. Make sure that you head over to the Battle Pass, ladies and gentlemen. You get so much free stuff on here. Purchase it. I highly recommend it. You get so many bundles. You get so much stuff on here, honestly. You got activity missions where you can claim a load of stuff every day. But then also you have a point store where you calculate battle pass points, where you can buy bundles, weapons. You can buy absolutely everything, basic supplies, advanced supplies. It's the best thing on the game, to be honest. You're forever going to be able to get gear if you're low on money. Join my Discord, ladies and gentlemen, where I showcase the best builds. The community gives you tips and tricks, community gun builds. You can find squads to play with, and you'll get announcements on my videos, some new upcoming changes to the game, and much more. I recommend playing as a 4-man squad at all times. If you can't find a 4-man squad, you can click onto this icon, click on recommended, and you'll be able to join lobbies from there. Or if you just go into, like, for example, lockdown zone, click on a map that you want to play. Let's go armory, for example. You can click on create a room. You can share your team code, or you can just invite players from here. You can recruit players as well from the world chat. Or you can find a team by clicking this and going to apply, like so. You have better chances when you play as a team. MIA, missing in action. If you don't extract in the time of your raid, you will lose all of your gear, ladies and gents. Always check drawers and suitcases and clothing, as secret documents can spawn in these. I have just recently got 2 in a set of drawers on Armory. Learn the callouts of every single map, ladies and gentlemen, because the better you get at calling out, the better chances you and your team will survive your raids. If you do not know the callouts, I highly recommend checking out my YouTube videos or watching my live streams on Twitch.com/ImOw to be able to watch me playing with my teammates, calling out. You'll be able to pick up the callouts a lot easier that way. Always watch your kill cams. Can you use this yourself next time? And can you avoid this spot next time? Watching kill cams may be disappointing to you, but it's got such a beneficial effect where you can learn and improve your gameplay. Gear fear. You don't want to lose money, but sometimes this gets you killed as you play too slow. Learn to die a few times. Grow some balls and forget about pixels and just get confident. Confidence equals kills and money, because patience will get you killed sometimes. When you are in a raid, guys, and you're running, try not to run with your weapon out all the time. Get your knife out, because you run extremely faster and you use less stamina. And the final tip and trick, ladies and gentlemen, of this video is drop a like, subscribe, leave a comment down below for all the new players. If you are an existing player already, if you've got any more tips and tricks that I couldn't fit in this video, leave them down below for the new players. And guys, I hope that this video has helped you out. This video is for beginners, intermediate players, and experts. And of course, you know, if you've been playing the game for over 1,000 hours like myself, you may have learned something new in this video. If you want more videos like this, please do let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget, again, drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Also, guys, I am live every single day on twitch.tv/ImOw.